Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.
And to everyone participating at home, Shana Tova to you as well. Bruchim Habaim, we are here. And this is a good thing. And whether you're here in the sanctuary or at home, what a joy to be able to welcome the new year, 5782. And as we prepare for our first High Holy Day service of the year, I'm thinking about the parable from the Hasidic tradition about a king who has a terrible argument with his son, the prince. And the king is so livid and so angry with his son that he banishes the prince from the kingdom. And the prince goes and travels and travels and travels a very far distance from the palace and eventually settles down somewhere far away. And 1 year goes by, 2 years goes by, the years go by and by and by, no contact between the king and his son. And eventually the king has a change of heart, decides that he misses the prince, and he gets word somehow to his son the prince and says, "Return to me, come back home." And the prince is still so hurt by what had happened that the prince refuses and sends word back, "I can't. I'm not coming back." And the king sends back a message that says, "Come back as far as you can, and I will meet you the rest of the way." So tonight we are taking our first steps back to God for this year. Tonight we are taking our first steps back toward Torah. Tonight we are taking our first steps back toward being the best people we can be, and that's why we call it teshuvah, from the word lashuv, which means to return. And all we have to do, and all God needs from us, is to put our best effort out there, and God will take us back. And so in that spirit, we begin the new year 5782. We invite you to turn to page 8 in our machzor, page 8 in our prayer book.
Me'ayin yavo Ezri me'im Adonai Oseh shamayim Shomer Yisrael Adonai Shomrecha Adonai Tzidcha al yad yeminecha Yomam HaShemesh lo yakeka Yishmorcha mikol ra, Yishmor et nafshecha. Adonai Yishmor tziltzecha uvoecha me'ata.
We usher in Rosh Hashanah with Hadlakat HaNeirot, the lighting of the Yom Tov candles, and we are pleased to invite Patty Malo, co-president of our congregation, to lead us in the candle blessing. We invite you to turn to pages 10 and 11.
The first mitzvah in the Torah is let there be light. So we are commanded, in everything you do, be a menorah, a bringer of light. Live with honor, act with integrity, do your work with passion, and the radiance of your deeds will live after you. May our ideals burn bright, forever unextinguished, and may we live our lives like the flames we kindle, always stretching upward, striving for good, reaching for you. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Yom Tov.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Yom Tov.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
Source of blessing, eternal our God, you fill the universe with majestic might, giving us life, upholding the life within us, and bringing us to this time.
Amen. We continue on page 17 in our prayer book.
Hinni ani mima'as, nir'ash v'nifchad mipachad, yoshev tehilot Yisrael, bati lamod להתחנן לפניך על עמך ישראל אשר שלחוני ואף על פי שאני חדי והגון לכך על כן אבקש ממך אלוהי אברהם אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, ואלוהי רחל, ואלוהי לאה, אדוני, אדוני, רחום וחנון אלוהים, שדי, היום ונורא, אשר אנוכי הולך עמול לבקש רחמים עלי ועל שולחי.
Here I am, so poor in deeds I tremble in fear, overwhelmed and apprehensive before you, to whom Israel sings praise. Although unworthy, I rise to pray and seek favor for your people Israel, for they have entrusted me with this task. Therefore, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, God of Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, Adonai, Adonai, merciful, gracious God who inspires awe, I pray to you for success on my path. I pray for myself and my community. Do not hold them responsible for my wrongs and offenses. May my deeds cause them no shame, and may their deeds cause me no shame. Accept my prayer as though it were offered by one more worthy of this task, a scholar, proficient in prayer, unblemished in character, pleasing in voice. Let love be our banner. Let it banish our wrongs. May Israel's strife and misfortunes be turned into joy, renewed life, and peace. Love, peace, and truth, may they prevail among us, and may there be no impediment to my prayer. Adonai, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, God of Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, great, mighty, awe-inspiring, God Most High, who said to Moses, I will be what I will be. May it be your will that my prayer reach your presence for the sake of the righteous and blameless, the honest and pure of heart, for the sake of your glory. You hear your people's prayer with compassion. Blessed are you, the one who hears prayer.
ויהי רצון מלפניך, אדוני אלוהי אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, העליון, אהיה אשר אהיה, שתבוא תפילתי וכנשא כבודך בעבור כל הצדיקים והחסידים, התנינים והישרים, ובעבור כבוד שמך הגדול והנורא. כי אתה שומע תפילה עמך ישראל ברחמים. ברוך אתה אדוני שומע תפילה.
Please rise. Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, יהי רצון שנזכה לברכותיך בשנת 5782. Our God and God of our ancestors, may we know your blessings in the year 5782. Eternal One, bless us and the whole house of Israel with renewed life, happiness and peace, comfort and courage, resilience and strength. May the words of our heart be acceptable to you in the new year that stretches before us. We are forever grateful for the gift of life.
Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed.
Page 22. We read together, Blessed are you, Adonai. Your great name fills the universe with majestic might. Your word creates twilight and dusk, as your wisdom opens the gates of night. Your discernment separates the changing seasons and causes the passage of time. The stars arrayed across the sky reveal your design. You roll out the cycle of darkness and light, shaping day and night. You sweep away day and carry the world into nightfall, setting day apart from nighttime. You are God of all we can perceive and all that is beyond our perception. Living eternal God, be our sovereign to the end of time.
ומעביר יום, ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה. אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, כמה ארי ורבי.
Page 24. Love beyond all space and time. Your love enfolds your people, Yisrael. We receive it in your teaching, your gift of Torah, sacred obligations, discipline, and law. So let us speak these teachings when we lie down and rise up, and find joy forever in your Torah and mitzvot. They are the very essence of our life, ours to ponder and study all our days. May we never lose or be unworthy of your love.
כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, והם נגה יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Page 32. Truth and faith. These are fundamental to our existence. God alone is their source, and we are Israel, a people of God. Our sovereign saves us from tyranny, redeems us from its violence through countless wonders, from its brutality through great feats beyond measure. We are Israel, a people of God. the giver of life, who would not let our feet give way, the maker of miracles for us against Pharaoh, of signs and portents in the land of Egypt, the one who brought our people Israel from its midst to enduring freedom. Witnesses to this heroic might, the people thanked and praised God by name, freely accepting the rain of heaven. Then Moses and Miriam and all Israel sang to you this song of utter joy.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh, nora tehilot osef ele, malechutecha ra'u vanecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, Zeli anu ve'ameru Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed v'ne'emar ki fada Adonai et Yaakov וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. Shalom v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim ufros aleinu sukhat shalomcha v'takneinu beit tzadova milfanecha v'hoshienu b'man shemecha. V'hagen badeinu v'haser me'aleinu oyev defer v'harev v'rav v'yagon v'harchek mimenu avon Ki el melech chanun v'rachum ata ושמור צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ולשלום מעתה ועד עולם מעתה ועד עולם ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך ברוך אתה אדוני הפורס סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל ירושלים יתגדל ויתקדש שמך רבה בעלמא דברך חירותך וימליך מלכותך בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן יש שמך רבה מברך לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמך דקודשה בריחו לעילה ולעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו amen.
Page 42. We invite you to please rise for the Amidah, page 42.
That my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu ve'imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Ve'Konei HaKol V'Zocher Chasadei Avot V'Imahot U'Mevi Gula Livnei V'neihem Lema'an Shemo Ve'ahava Zochreinu lechaim Melech hafetz b'chaim V'chotveinu b'sefer hachayim Lemancha Elohim chayim Zochreinu lechaim Melech hafetz b'chaim V'chotveinu b'sefer hachayim Lemancha Elohim melech chozer u'moshiach u'magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham V'ezrat Sarah
Amen.
Atah Givol Olam Adonai Mechayei Hakol Atah Rav Lehoshia Morid Hatal V'chag el Chaim B'chesed Mechayei Hakol Berachamim Rabim Somech Noflim B'rofei Chodim U'matir Asurim U'mekayem emunato Lishenei avar Michamocha b'gevorot U'midom elach Melech memit U'mechayem U'matzmiach Yeshua Mi chamocha El harachamim Zocher Yitzurav L'chaim berachamim V'ne'eman atah L'hachayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai Mechayei hakol
Amen.
Atah kadosh V'shimecha kadosh U'kadoshim B'chol Yehol Mihalelu Chaselah.
Please be seated. Page 49. And so, in your holiness, give all creation the gift of awe. Turn our fear to reverence. Let us be witnesses of wonder, perceiving all nature as a prayer come alive. We bow to the sovereignty of your strength, the primacy of your power. We yearn for connection with all that lives, doing your will with wholeness of heart. Awe-inspiring is your creation, all-encompassing your transcendent name. And so in your holiness, give your people the gift of honor. Bless with praise those who praise you. Bless with hope those who seek you. Give your believers a basis for faith, true happiness for the land of Israel, true joy in Jerusalem. May the sparks of David, your servant, soon grow bright enough for us to see a beam of light in the darkness, a promise of perfection. And so in your holiness, give the righteous the gift of a vision bright with joy, a world where evil has no voice and the rule of malevolence fades like wisps of smoke. Good people everywhere will celebrate the stunning sight of arrogance gone from the earth. You, and you alone, Adonai, will reign over creation upon Mount Zion, home of your presence, and in Jerusalem, a city set apart by you. As the psalmists believe, Adonai will reign eternally, your God Zion for all generations. Hallelujah.
Kadosh atah v'norah shemecha v'yein eloch mibaladecha kakatuv vayikbah Adonai tzivod b'mishpat v'ha'el hakadosh nikdash b'tzedakah Baruch atah Adonai HaMelech HaKadosh.
Amen. Page 53. You chose us with love to be messengers of mitzvot, and through us you made known your aspirations. Among all the many peoples, you gave us a pathway to holiness. Among all the great nations, you uplifted us and made yourself our sovereign, and so we seek you and serve you and celebrate our nearness to your presence. Your great and sacred name has become our calling. In your love, eternal our God, you have given us this day of remembrance, a day for the shofar's joyful sound, a day of sacred assembly, a day to be mindful of our people's going out from Egypt.
Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, ya'aleh ve'avo ve'yagia, v'yira'eh ve'yiratzeh ve'yishama v'yipakeh v'yizacher zichronenu u'fikdonenu, v'zichron avotenu v'imotenu, v'zichron Yerushalayim yirkodshecha, v'zichron kol amcha beit Yisrael, lefanecha lifleita u'tova, l'cheinu l'chesed rachamim l'chaim u'shalom, bayom hazikaron hazeh, zochrenu Adonai Eloheinu bo l'tova,
Amen.
ufokdenu vo livracha,
Amen.
v'oshinu vo l'chaim. Yeshua v'rachamim chus v'chonenu, v'rachem aleinu v'hoshienu, ki lecha einenu, ki el melech chanun v'rachum ata.
Page 57. Page 57. This is the season of God. This is the season of our humanity. And this is the day when one word stands at the very center of Jewish prayer. Meloch. 3 Hebrew letters. Mem, Lamed, Chaf. Reign over space and time. Meloch, reign over the infinite expanse. Show us your reality. Help us see our finite place in the cosmos that is our home. What is God's sovereignty? What is God's rule? It is the rule of unity by which we sense coherence in the universe. It is the power of relationship, relating every image of God to every other image of God and to every facet of nature. Sunshine and ocean waves, heartbeats, honeybees, the stuff that stars are made of. It is the ultimate power that governs our lives with wisdom, compassion, truth, and kindness. In this season of God, may we breathe new life into the ancient name, Melech HaOlam, and may the ruler of the universe breathe new life into each of us. We read together on page 58. God, who is ours and God of our fathers and mothers, lead us to holiness through your mitzvot, and may each of us find a portion of Torah that is ours. You bestow such goodness. Teach us to be satisfied and to know the joy of your salvation. Help us to serve you truly with purity of heart, for you are a faithful God whose truth stands forever.
Baruch atah Adonai melech al kol haaretz mikadesh Yisrael melech al kol haaretz mikadesh Yisrael melech al kol haaretz mikadesh Yisrael v'yom hazikaron.
Amen. Page 60. Eternal our God, your people Israel yearns for your favor. Receive their prayer with loving acceptance. May you always desire your people's worship. Divine One, close to all who call upon you, bring your grace and presence near to those who serve you. Pour forth your Spirit on us, and may our eyes see your merciful return to Zion.
Baruch atah Adonai, hamachzir shechinato leTzion.
Amen. Page 62. We read together, God who is ours, God of all generations, to you we are grateful forever. Rock and protector of our lives, your saving power endures from age to age. We thank you and tell the tale of your praise, your power in our lives, your caring for our souls, the constant miracle of your kindness. Morning, noon, and night, we call you goodness, for your compassion never ends. We call you mercy, for your love has no limit. We call you hope, now and for all time.
Kulam yitbarach v'yitramam shimcha malkeinu tamid le'olam va'ed. Uchetov l'chaim tovim kol b'nei v'ritecha v'chochaim yoru chasela v'alelut shimcha benet ha'el yeshuateinu v'ezrateinu selah. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimecha, ulecha na'eh lehodot.
Amen.
Shalom Rava Yisrael Amecha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amecha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata u'melech Adon lecho Shalom, ki ata u'melech Adon lecho Shalom, v'tov beinecha levarech et amecha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. בספר חיים ברכה ושלום, ברכה ושלום ופרנסה טובה, ברכה ושלום ניזכר וניכתב לפניך, אנחנו וכל עמך בית ישראל לחיים טובים ולשלום. ברוך אתה אדוני עושה השלום.
We pause for a few moments of silent prayer, offering the prayers of our own hearts, and if we so choose, the meditations found on pages 68 through 71. We pray in silence.
עושה שלום ממרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום ממרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום ממרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, ועל כל יושבי תבל, ועל כל ישראל.
We continue on page 72. May the Eternal One, who blesses all life, bless and strengthen all of us who struggle against illness. May we, whose lives are touched by illness, be blessed with faith, courage, love, and caring. May we experience the support and sustenance of family, friends, companions, and community. May we be granted restful nights and days of comfort. We pray for refuah shlema, precious moments of healing and a sense of wholeness in body and soul. May those who care for the sick with their hands, their voices, and their hearts be blessed with courage and stamina. May those who pursue healing through medical skill and knowledge be blessed with insight, patience, and compassion. May all of us, the sick and the well together, find courage and hope, and let us say, Amen. Continue on page 75. We read responsively, we haven't forgotten Avinu Malkeinu, though we've overthrown kings and we disobey fathers, and we have no great liking for absolute power. Akiva stood before you in a time of drought, and his words went up like a flame on the altar. Avinu Malkeinu, you alone are our ruler. Avinu Malkeinu, have compassion for us. He was humble and forgiving, so his prayer was answered. Tonight we speak again in a time of drought. Dry ground beneath us, no water, only rock. Not a hunger for bread or a thirst for water, but hearts that are longing to hear God's voice. For the sea of faith is all but gone, the tide's gone out on the empty beach. The world mocks our hopes, and life tests our courage. Why do the wicked live on and prosper? Why are you silent when they prey on the innocent? And if your dominion is kindness and justice, why is creation in so much pain? Avinu Malkeinu, sustain our souls, send rain to our roots, help us find a way to pray. Make us humble and forgiving of ourselves and one another. Avinu Malkeinu, renew these words, help us speak them with conviction and believe their truth. 100 generations have stood before the ark, and they lifted up their voices like flame on the altar, and they put their trust in kindness and justice, and they gave their strength to make the promise real. Avinu Malkeinu, we haven't forgotten. Avinu Malkeinu, bring us back to you. Please rise. Avinu Malkeinu, ein lanu melech ela ata. Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, you alone are our sovereign. Avinu Malkeinu, lema'ancha rachem aleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, for your sake, show us mercy. Avinu Malkeinu, aseh imanu lema'an shemecha. Avinu Malkeinu, act toward us as befits your name. Avinu Malkeinu, shlach refuah shlema lechole amecha. Avinu Malkeinu, bring healing and wholeness to the ill among us. Avinu Malkeinu, kra ro'ah gazer dinenu. Avinu Malkeinu, allay the harshness of the decree against us. Avinu Malkeinu, kodvenu b'sefer ge'ula v'yeshu'ah. Avinu Malkeinu, inscribe us in the book of redemption and renewal. Avinu Malkeinu, zochenu b'zichron tov lefanecha. Avinu Malkeinu, remember our goodness and call it to mind. Avinu Malkeinu, aseh lema'ancha v'hoshi'enu. Avinu Malkeinu, act for your sake and save us.
Avinu Malkeinu, Shema Koleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chatanu lefanecha. Avinu Malkeinu, Chamol aleinu, ve'alol aleinu, ve'tapeinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Kalei Dever, v'cheret v'ra, me'aleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Kalei Chotzor, u'maskin, me'aleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Kodveinu, b'sefer chaim tovin. Avinu Malkeinu, Chodesh aleinu, Chodesh aleinu, Shana Tova. Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Chodesh aleinu, Shana Tova. Avinu Malkeinu, Shema Koleinu, Shema Koleinu, Shema Koleinu.
Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Chonenu va'anenu, Ki manu masim, Asei manu, Tzedaka v'chesed, Asei manu, Tzedaka v'chesed, V'hoshienu. Asei manu, Tzedaka v'chesed, Asei imanu, Tzedaka v'chesed, V'hoshienu.
Please be seated. Once there was a boy who asked questions. From the time he was very young, he questioned everyone about everything. His questions never stopped. Every answer only gave birth to a new question. He began asking about small things, and as he grew older, his questions grew bigger. So by the time he was a young man, he sought the biggest answers of all. But there is no one in his small village who can answer those questions. You must go and see the Rebbe, his father told him. He will help you find your answers. Now, the Rebbe was a great teacher. He knew the answers to the biggest of questions. He even knew the secrets of God. So the boy's mother packed his bag, and with a hug of love, his parents sent him on his way. The boy arrived in the Rebbe's town and found his way to the Rebbe's school. He listened intently to the Rebbe's lessons, thrilled at the prospect of finally finding answers. At last, he was shown in to see the Rebbe. Great Rebbe, please teach me about God, the boy pleaded. I want to learn the secrets of God. The Rebbe stared at the boy's face for some time and at last responded, I will teach you. But tell me, do you have a place to stay? A place to stay? The boy asked. I don't need a place to stay. I want to master the secrets of God. Yes, of course, but first go and find a place to stay. Then you'll learn the secrets. The boy left the Rebbe's presence. He wasn't happy about the delay, but he knew he must obey the Rebbe. He scoured the town, searching for an inn, a room, a loft, even a spare bed. It was a small town. He found nothing available. No one had a room to spare. If he wanted to stay in the town, he would have to build a place for himself. So he found a good-hearted carpenter who offered to share his skills and lend his tools, and the boy set to work building a home. He didn't know if he could do it since he had never built anything before, but he knew he must try, for only then would the Rebbe share his secrets. It wasn't easy. Each time he put up a wall, it fell down, and each time he covered the roof, it fell in. But he persisted. Finally, the wall stayed up, and the roof stayed up, and the windows and doors opened and shut, and the boy realized that he had built himself a home. It wasn't big, it wasn't pretty, but it was cozy and warm, and it was his. He had never thought he could do such a thing, but he'd done it. So he returned to the Rebbe. Rebbe, I built myself a home. I would never have believed I could do such a thing, but I mastered the skills, and now I have a home. Now, please, teach me the secrets of God. The Rebbe looked into the boy's face for some time. Finally, he said, of course. But first, tell me, do you have a job? A job? the boy asked. "No, I came to learn the secrets. I have no need for a job." "Go and find a job, and then we'll have plenty of time to learn together." The boy left the Rebbe. He knew he must obey the wise teacher if he ever hoped to learn the secrets of God. So he looked for a job. The village baker was advertising for an apprentice. The boy offered himself. He had never worked so hard in his life. From early in the morning until late in the night, until his hands were weary and his back ached and his head hurt. But he learned. He learned how to turn flour and water into fine loaves of bread and sweet cakes. He learned the joy of serving his neighbors. And when he had mastered the trade, the village baker made him a partner. On that day, the boy took a basket of his best breads and cakes and brought them to the Rebbe. "Rebbe, you told me to find a place to stay, so I built a home. You told me to get a job, so I learned to bake. Look, I have brought you the fruits of my labors. Now please, share with me the secrets I have waited so long to hear." The Rebbe looked long into the boy's face. Finally he asked, "Are you married?" "Married?" asked the boy with obvious frustration. "Why should I be married? I came to learn the great secrets of God, not to get married." "Of course," said the Rebbe, "but first go and get married. Then you'll learn the secrets." The boy was frustrated. He was angry. But what was he to do? How could he argue with the Rebbe? In the town, there was a girl he liked, and he suspected she liked him. So he began to spend time with her. They took walks at sunset and had picnics in the meadow. They talked about their dreams, and they fell in love. In his whole life, he had never known he could love someone as much as he loved her. He asked her to marry him, and she asked him to marry her. Their wedding was simple, but warmed by their love. She moved into his cozy home, and they shared the fruits of their labors. The boy returned to the Rebbe. "Rebbe, you told me to find a place to live, so I built a home. You told me to find a job, so I learned a trade. Then you asked me to get married. I found a woman. I never knew I could love anyone as much as I love her. We are married. Now, Rebbe, please teach me the secrets of God." "Do you have children?" the Rebbe asked. Rabbis tend to be difficult people. Somehow, the boy expected this. He wasn't nearly as frustrated as before. This time he just smiled. "No, not yet, but if you tell me, I will obey." "Good," said the Rebbe. "Go and have children. Then come back, and I will teach you." In his whole life, he had never thought he could love someone as much as he loved his wife. He never thought he could work so hard as he worked at his trade. He had never thought he would feel as good as the day his home was complete. But then the children came, and the boy discovered that he could love even deeper and work even harder and feel even more complete than he had ever felt before. He cared for his family and gave them everything he had and everything he made. And yet he felt more happiness than he had ever known. So he returned to the Rebbe. "Great Rebbe, when I came to you years ago, I asked you to teach me the secrets of God. You told me to find a place to stay. You told me to find a job. You told me to get married. Then you told me to have children. Now, Rebbe, I am ready. I have done everything you asked. Now, please, teach me the secrets of God." The Rebbe stared into the boy's face. "Not yet. You're not ready yet." "But what else do you require?" the boy cried. "What else?" Soon you will know. And with that, the Rebbe turned back to his books. Soon after, a messenger came from the boy's village with an urgent message. The boy's grandmother was ill. The boy was needed at once. The boy rushed home. He found his grandmother weary and sick. He sat with his grandmother and they talked, sharing all that life had taught them. And when the grandmother realized that her grandson had grown into a man, learned and wise, she smiled weakly, fell asleep, and peacefully died with her grandson beside her. The boy cried with a sadness he had never felt before. He loved his grandmother and missed her so much. He knew no way to escape his loneliness and pain. He asked himself how he could ever feel good again, how he could ever find a way back to life. But as the days went by, sweet memories of his grandmother replaced some of his pain, and he found the way back to life, to his family, to his happiness, to the Rebbe. Great Rebbe, he declared, I love my grandmother so much. I never thought I could say goodbye. I never thought I could ever overcome my sadness and pain. But my grandmother taught me to love life as she did. And so I have found a way to remember her and yet feel happy. Am I ready now to share the secrets of God? Yes, my son. Now you are ready to hear the secrets. The Rebbe took a deep breath. He stood and walked to the window. He stared at the sunset outside. You came here years ago looking for a God outside yourself, far away, up in the universe. But the best place to find God is within. In your ability to grow, to learn, to build, to produce, to love, to share, to care, and to overcome life's pain. You need no more secrets. You have already found the God you came looking for. My son, you already know the secrets. The boy listened to every word. He knew the Rebbe was right. Had he heard these words years before, when he first arrived, he would have slammed his fist down in frustration. But now, having done all the Rebbe had asked, having built a home and made a living and loved a wife and cared for a family and said goodbye to his grandmother, he knew in his heart that the Rebbe was right. All the secrets he needed were his already. The boy remained the Rebbe's student and disciple for many years, and when the Rebbe was old and in need of rest, he turned to the boy and appointed him Rebbe in his place. The new Rebbe humbly assumed his position. Soon his reputation had spread far and wide throughout the land. The new Rebbe was wise beyond compare. He knew all the answers to all the questions. He could answer even the biggest of questions. He knew the secrets of God. People came from all over seeking the Rebbe's wisdom. And when any young person would come and say to the Rebbe, "Teach me, please, the secrets of God," the Rebbe would look into his face for a long while and then reply, "Do you have a place to stay? Go find a place. Then I'll share the secrets with you." You know what amazes me about this story, told in this form by Rabbi Ed Feinstein, is how modern it is, even though it's set in the old days. The boy has questions, and if you have questions, there must be answers, and there must be someone who can tell you those answers. Maybe if the story was set today, the boy would have skipped the visit to the Rebbe and Googled it instead. You know, we live in a world where we can get so much done so quickly. We can find so much information so fast, which is great. But here's the thing. There is no expert to clearly and unambiguously answer life's most important questions. It's understandable to want answers to life's big questions. We want proof that God exists. We want to know that there is some kind of order, some rhyme or reason, some method to the madness, to the occurrences in our lives. We want things to make sense. We would all like readily accessible answers to many of the questions we enter this new year with, to name but a few of possibly many, many questions. Will we truly do teshuvah? Will we repair our damaged relationships? Will the people we have wronged forgive us? Will the people who wronged us seek our forgiveness? And will we grant that forgiveness? Is there justice in the world? Are the righteous rewarded? Are the wicked punished? Or the protagonist of our stories question, what are the secrets of God? Like all of life's great and most significant questions, there is no answer to the secrets of God. Finding God is not a secret to be unlocked, revealed, taught, or discovered. The paradox or the irony is that the only way to experience God is through our own human experiences. We find God through our own choices and the choices we make and the actions we take as we go through life. And these holy days call us to think deeply about our choices. Rabbi Feinstein points out, even Moses, the greatest of the prophets, Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses, our teacher, the person who had the most direct, intimate interactions with God, even Moses had questions. Even Moses wanted to see God face to face, but even he couldn't. Moses literally, in the book of Exodus, asked God, oh, let me see your kavod, your presence, your essence. Moses asked God, let me see you. And God tells Moses, I will make all my goodness pass before you, and I will proclaim before you the name Adonai. But you cannot see my face, for none may see me and live. What God teaches Moses is that there is no such thing as seeing God directly. All that's possible is to emulate God's goodness in the way we live. And we can see God, quote unquote, through living our lives in such a way that we bring God's goodness into the world for ourselves and others to see. None may see me and live. And I would add, by living, we see God. As Rabbi Feinstein puts it, you can't know God by looking directly into the mystery. You know God by finding the place where God has been. The Rebbe sent the boy to seek the presence of God in his own experiences of transcendence, in becoming more than we are, in building, planting, loving, creating, and renewing. We can feel the presence of God in our lives. Now, the Rebbe in the story provides the student and all of us with a roadmap that we can use over the high holy days for our reflections on the past year and our goals for how we want to live in the new year, and in so doing, discover the secrets of God for ourselves. The boy learns to build a home, simple as it may be, thanks to a carpenter willing to share his knowledge and skills with him. What have we built in the past year? Not bricks and mortar built, but how have we built a shelter of love, caring, and compassion in our world? Have we played the role of the carpenter, freely sharing our knowledge and talents and helping someone else just for the sake of being helpful? We discover God when we build love and compassion, and when we give of ourselves to others, expecting nothing in return. The boy becomes a baker and enjoys making people happy with the baked goods he makes. How do we bring joy to others? How do we serve others in our community? Do we spend our time in pursuits that add value, spiritual value, and emotional value to others? We discover God when we lift others up and bring joy and sweetness into the lives of others. The boy gets married. Who are we committed to, whether it is in a marriage or a friendship or our relationship with family? With whom do we share our life? What relationships do we need to strengthen? Which do we need to reevaluate? We discover God in our relationships of trust, honesty, support, caring, love, and respect. The boy has children, and in so doing, learns to give selflessly of all that he has. He learns that he does not live for himself alone, that others depend on him, and he is responsible for them. Who depends on us? What do they need from us? In what way do we selflessly give of ourselves to others? We discover God in every act of selflessness we do or receive. And children inspire us to think about our legacy. One does not need to have children to think about what our lasting contribution to the world will be. What will people see in this world after we are gone that reminds them of us? What steps can we take this year to create a legacy of which we can be proud? The man cares for his grandmother. He appreciates his grandmother, respects her, and loves her, and demonstrates loyalty and gratitude to her. What have we learned from those who came before us that sustains us and influences us? How do we show our respect and appreciation to them for all that they did, all that they worked for, all that they sacrificed to enable us to live the lives that we lead? What can we do to engender the same love and loyalty in our descendants? Will we take the time this year to hear our elders' stories and to learn from their life experience? I am so grateful that my children were able to ask my mother questions about what the world was like when she was growing up before she died in August, and that they were able to spend time with her and my dad before he died 5.5 years ago. They heard my parents' stories just as I heard my parents' stories and my grandparents' stories, often many, many times, always good. Those stories are among my most important links to my parents and grandparents, and I am so grateful that my children have that same link. Those stories, I feel, place my life and the lives of my kids within the context of the larger story of our family, and we know that we are part of something bigger than our own individual lives and experience. We discover God in the stories and lessons bequeathed to us by our ancestors and our elders. And we are all like the young man who has to overcome the pain of losing someone he loves, losing his grandmother. We all have pain to overcome. Can we find a way to integrate our losses into our lives so we can continue to embrace life? What are the sweet memories that temper the pain of loss? We discover God as we grapple with loss and as we receive the love and support of family and friends as we make our way back into life. The young man learns an important truth, and so do we. We don't have to look for God. We don't have to wonder if God exists. We don't have to wonder where God is. We don't have to know the answers to life's biggest questions. We don't. What we have to do is what we Jews are called to today and always, to live our lives in such a way that leads others to say, God has been here. And let us continue on page 78 with the introduction to the Kiddush, page 78. Lift this cup for the year that is gone, for mountaintop moments and the taste of joy, celebrations shared, milestones met, all we've mastered and achieved since last we met, for wedding rings, tears, and kisses under the chuppah, new babies, first words, and first steps, for the children who bless our homes and bring life to our community, for B'nai Mitzvah and confirmands, young teachers of this holy congregation, ours to cherish and guide with love, for beloved wives and husbands, sisters and brothers, for loyal friends who grow more precious with each passing year, for this community which nourishes us all, for all we've learned, for all we've struggled through, for challenges surmounted and disappointments met with courage, for last moments shared with those we loved and lost, for parents and grandparents whose memories are with us forever. We lift this cup for the year that is gone, for the year that begins. May we meet it in strength, in unity, in hope. We lift life's cup and celebrate survival, so may we sanctify each day that is ours.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol am v'romemanu mikol ashon v'kiddushanu b'mitzvotav ki v'titen lanu Adonai Eloheinu be'ahava et yom hazikaron hazeh yom teruah mikra kodesh zecher litziat mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol amim u'devarcha emet v'kayam lad Baruch atah Adonai melech haaretz mekadesh Yisrael b'yom hazikaron Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheyanu v'kiyemanu v'higianu lazman hazeh L'chaim. To everyone on our stream, a special l'chaim.
We continue on page 82. We invite you to rise for Aleinu, page 82.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol Latet gedula leotzed breshit Shalom asanu kegoyei aratzot Velo samanu kemishpechot ha'adama Shalom sam chelkeinu kahem V'gorameinu kechol hamonam Va'anachnu koreim U'mishtachavim u'modim לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Please be seated. Page 85. May the time not be distant, O God, when all shall turn to you in love, when corruption and evil shall give way to integrity and goodness, when lies and bigotry shall no longer enslave the mind, nor idolatry blind the eye. So may all created in your image become one in spirit and one in friendship, forever united in your service. Then shall your realm be established on earth, and the word of your prophet fulfilled. Adonai will reign forever and ever.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Page 88. All last requests are granted, and this is mine. Grasp my affection in your hand and hold it there. Gather my affection into your heart and store it there. Draw my affection in simple lines in your mind and foster it, further it. Funnel it into all the coastal plains and lowlands where daily life and memory flow together. Let the river of affection rise and overflow. Let the grasses in the meadow near the river bend in the current, where my love has flooded your land. Our thoughts turn to loved ones whom death has taken from us in recent days, and those who died at this season in years past. Our hearts open as well to the wider circles of loss in our community and wherever grief touches the human family. Zichronam livracha. May their memories be a blessing in this new year and always. We turn now to page 90 and we rise to sanctify the name of God in the words of Kaddish, page 90. Yitzgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalma divra chiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, v'chayechon v'yomechon, v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, v'hagala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach le'olam ulamei almaya, yitzbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudsha barichu la'ela ula'ela mikol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata ta'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlam Rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace on all who mourn, and may we be a source of comfort to all who are bereaved. Amen.
We continue on page 96 with the Yigdal, and it is so wonderful that we are all gathered, those of us who are participating here live, those participating over stream, and I just did a little analytics. It seems that we have approximately 100 people watching or participating from home on the stream, so it is incredible that we
Way to
have
go, streamers.
our congregation possibly spread out all over the world, all over the country,
Yep.
and it's just, I think, an incredible thing. It shows about the strength of Temple Shalom, that we are, to use the old expression, we're stronger than the storm, we're stronger than all of this, and we are definitely stronger together. So again, for those at home, you hear me say this on Shabbat, please sure to text all your friends. Let's bring all the joy of these high holidays to each other. Let's all wish each other certainly Shana Tova over text, certainly to your neighbors. But before we do that, I want to get my closing song in. We're on page 96
That's
for
a good one, too.
Yigdal.
All right.
Yigdal Elohim Chai ve'yishtabach Nimtza ve'en eit el metziuto Echad ve'en yachid keyichudo Ne'lam v'gam ein sof le'achduto Eno demut haguf ve'eno guf Lo na'aroch elav kedushato Kadmon lechol davar asher nivra Rishon ve'en reshit lereshito Hino Adon olam bechol notzar Yordenu gulato malechuto Shefa nevuato netano el שסגולתו ותפארתו לא קם בישראל כמו שעוד נביא ומביט את תמונתו תורת אמת נתן לעמו אל היה נביאו נאמן ביתו לא יחליף האל ולא ימיר נתו לעולמים לזולתו צופה ויודע סתרנו מביט בסוף דבר בקדמתו דומה לאיש חסד כמפעלו נותן לרשע רע כרשעתו ישלח לקץ ימים משיחנו לפדות מחקקת תשובתו חיי עולם נטע בתוכנו ברוך עדי עד שם תהילתו חיי עולם נטע בתוכנו ברוך עדי עד שם תהילתו.
Before we recite our final prayer, a quick housekeeping note. After that final prayer, we would ask you, as you leave the sanctuary, to please bring your prayer books with you and deposit them back in the lobby. For now, our final prayer is on page 99. Page 99. Yehi ratzon milfanecha Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu shetechadesh aleinu shana tova u'metuka. Our God and God of our ancestors, eternal God of all generations, may your presence in our lives this new year renew our spirits and renew our strength. May it be a good year. May it be a sweet year. L'shana tova tikatevu l'techatemu. May you be inscribed and sealed for a good year.